The next topic that we'll deal with is hazard communication. Each of us as employees have a right to know and understand what chemicals and substances we have around us in our workplace. The GHS, or Global Harmonization Standard, is a system that has been developed across the world to help communicate hazards in the workplace. There are very specific components of this system that we're going to speak about. One of the great things about this GHS system is the pictograms. All of the chemical and physical risks are separated into categories. Reading from left to right on the pictogram that you see on the top right are explosives, flammables, oxidizers, gases under pressure, and corrosives. As you can see, they are each very different symbols that designate each of these risks. Under the category of health risks, there are, from the left to right, severe toxics, acute toxics, which is the exclamation point, health dangers, and finally corrosives. Environmental hazard class are shown as a pictogram with the fish upside down. We won't go through all these hazards, but I do want to look a little closer at the health hazards. They are carcinogen, mutagenicity, reproductive toxicity, respiratory sensitizer, target organ toxicity, and aspiration toxicity. Woo! It pays to know what you're working with. There are 6 elements of the GHS label format. First is the signal word. It indicates the relative level of hazard. Danger is the most severe, while a warning is less severe. Second is symbols, the pictograms that we've previously talked about. They convey health, physical, and environmental information to us visually. Third is a product name or identifier, that which you would see on the label of the material. Fourth is the hazard statements. These are phrases that describe the nature of the product and sometimes the degree of hazard. Those are key to the hazard communication and emergency response book that we have. Number 5 is precautionary statements. Those are things you want to look at. This one, for example, which is carbon monoxide, says keep the container tightly closed. Avoid breathing vapors. If inhaled, remove victim to fresh air and keep at rest in a position comfortable for breathing. And then call the poison center of the. And then it says to store in a well-ventilated area. So these are the statements that you really want to pay attention to. And finally, we have the manufacturer information and some specific product identification. One final tip about hazard communication. We have subscribed to an online website that tells us all the information we need to know about the materials and substances that we work with at our facility. Our SDSs are maintained electronically on the MSDS online website. They can be accessed on your Plex control panel screen. The login ID is CLOYS, C-L-O-Y-E-S, and the password is CLOYS, C-L-O-Y-E-S. You can search by putting the name or manufacturing name into a search engine box, or by clicking on the letter and then scrolling for your substance.